All right, I'm going to go over project 3, creating vector flowers using the symbols and using some other tools to kind of create that. So first thing you got to do is make your canvas. Reminder that you should be in inches for this class. I'm not using any of the other ones on there, an 8.5 by 11. And then go to create, and you should get your canvas here. Now, depending on your version of Illustrator, you might not actually have some of the tools we need visible on your toolbar. So let's just make sure that you do. One of the tools that you need is the direct selection tool, also known as the white arrow. So locate that right here, make sure you have that. The other one I'm pretty sure that you don't have on the newer version of Illustrator is if you hold down on the pen tool, there's an add anchor point tool. If you do not have that, on the very bottom of your toolbar, you have these 3 dots. It's your edit toolbar icon, and you can see all the tools that they actually leave out here. So towards the top here, you have an add anchor point tool. If you don't have that, you can just drag it up into the pen tool and let go, and it'll automatically nest in there. So you can do that if you don't have it. So the other thing you need to locate, let's see how to get rid of this, is under window. You can go to brushes and that should pop up. And what you can do is just kind of move this by the top and get it over to an area where you don't necessarily want it in the way of all your stuff. But you can access it. That should also bring up symbols too. So the first thing you need to do is create a shape using one of the shapes that we learned. I believe the rounded rectangle is actually hidden there too, so now you know how to bring through more things. If you want your rounded rectangle, you can go in there and grab it as well. I'll just use a polygon for the first one, and you drag it out. Now, what you can do with it, we've been using the dark arrow quite a bit. We know that changes the size and rotates it and does a lot of things. Um, but what does the white arrow tool do? Let me zoom in here. What the white arrow tool does, it allows you to select any individual anchor point by clicking on it. And how you want to do this is you want to click to make sure that it's highlighted. And notice how that one stays blue and all the other ones are white, meaning that they're not selected. And then you can click back on it again and drag it and edit it. If you want to select multiple anchor points at once, you just hold down Shift and you can select multiple ones and then drag up like that. The add anchor point tool, which you just found and located, what that does is anywhere on the path that you just made, so anywhere on the shape, you can click on the perimeter of it and add anchor points. What that allows you to do then is to take your white arrow and click on one of those anchor points and really make a custom looking shape. So I'm going to bring that in. And here's my new shape that I created. Keep in mind that if you don't click on an area, a path, if you just accidentally click off here, you just miss a little bit. It's going to say, please use the add anchor point tool on a segment of the path. That just means you missed, so you didn't click it where you should have. Once you create that custom shape, what you need to do is save this into your brushes, and your color is going to matter. I would make sure you have a fill and maybe make it a color you can see. And what you're going to do is click on it with the dark arrow so it's selected, and go into your brushes and click on the little plus icon down here. That is a new brush icon. And once you click on that, it's going to ask you what kind of brush you want. You want it to be a pattern brush, and then you hit OK. And then this is giving you some options. You can play around with that for the most part. You can just kind of leave it alone and hit OK. And now you should see that in your brushes. Once you have it down there, you no longer need this original shape, so you can just hit delete. And what you want to do now is you want to make a shape. So I'm just going to go and make a simple circle. Once you make that circle, and I have it highlighted with the dark arrow, I'm going to go over to the brushes and I'm just going to click on it. And now I see that this brush is applied to that black circle that I made. depending on the size of stroke that you use, this is going to look totally different. It usually looks better the smaller you go. For example, I'll do 2. Once you get up into the higher ranges, it just kind of looks weird. So do 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1, and find one that you like. Once you have that setting, notice how there's no anchor points or anything around here. In order to get that, you have to go to Object, Expand Appearance. And once you have Expand Appearance done, now it's going around the whole entire thing. And now you can right-click and ungroup it. You might have to do it twice. But now all these shapes are individual, they're broken up. So now I can go through and actually change the color once more, and you can do whatever pattern you want. You can do every other like I'm doing, or your own choosing. What am I missing? Orange. And then you can save that. So if I want, I can I could even change this color again if I wanted to. But I can highlight over the whole thing and hit Control G and just be done with that. So you are going to be filling up your page with these symbols. Now, one thing you can do to kind of get a little more advanced is you can take this shape right here that you just made, and you can make that into a pattern brush. Then if I make a shape for this, now that is applied to it. And you start getting, I mean, it's called vector flowers, but it's really not. It's whatever you make it into. And you see something that you're not quite, you don't really like, you can erase it and try a different shape. So one of the requirements for this project is to make a brush with the letter of your name. So how to do that is you take your text tool, and I'm just going to put a T for me. Once I type it, take my dark arrow, let it know I'm done. I can resize it. I can go up to character, and I can change the font to something that I want. Let's do this one. And in order to make it into a brush, the first thing you have to do is right-click on it and go to Create Outlines. That makes it not in the font anymore. Notice if I click on it, I can't change anything with it. It makes it into just a kind of a vector image. So same thing here. Now I'm just going to treat that like a normal brush, pattern brush, hit OK. And same concept, make your shape. Make this one a little different color. Click on that, and then go from there. Again, that would be Object, Expand Appearance, Ungroup, and then you can ungroup it again if you need to, and start to change stuff on it. All right, so pretty simple. Can make some cool, unique logos with that, and you want to have probably at least 5. If not more, just kind of filling up your canvas with